Just when we all thought that Ricciardo's second half of the season would not be the return of dreams, the Mexican Grand Prix happened. And now things have turned from bad to very good for the popular Honey Badger. With the consistency that Perez displays in his bad performances, Ricciardo has a massive opportunity to get back in a Red Bull car next to Max Verstappen, and this time it might very well happen sooner than you think. Could the potential return of Danny to Red Bull bring about changes in the pecking order, and what will that mean for him? Daniel Ricciardo's return to the Formula One grid with AlphaTauri was primarily aimed at showcasing himself as a potential alternative to Sergio Perez for Red Bull's senior team. And given this context, it's inevitable to draw parallels between Ricciardo's impressive performance in the Mexican Grand Prix, securing a 4th place starting position and finishing 7th in the race, and Perez's unfortunate early exit from his home race due to a misjudged move on Charles Leclerc. As of now, Red Bull has empathetically stated its commitment to Perez, honouring his existing contract, which extends through 2024. However, in light of the events in Mexico City, one might wonder whether this stance should be reconsidered. Alternatively, it might be prudent to reserve judgment on Ricciardo's comeback until more races have transpired. Christian Horner's post-race statement, talking about how Daniel Ricciardo's performance resembled the beloved Daniel of old, serves as a clear and unwavering vote of confidence. But what is even more encouraging for both Red Bull and Ricciardo is that this transformation appears genuine. While replicating the peak achievement of qualifying 4th may prove challenging for the remainder of the season, there are distinct, rational explanations for Ricciardo's great performance in Mexico, and this isn't just about the solitary outcome. It's about the factors that enabled such a remarkable showing, reinvigorating Ricciardo's post-McLaren resurgence. Reaching this stage took months, owing to the unexpected setback of Ricciardo sustaining a hand injury shortly after F1's summer break. However, during the Mexican Grand Prix weekend, Ricciardo exhibited traits more in line with his pre-McLaren self, as he and AlphaTauri were finally able to rigorously test various setup configurations. Ricciardo employs a distinct driving style compared to both regular driver Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly, who served as AlphaTauri's lead driver for several reasons, as they favour a later braking technique coupled with a sharp delayed rotation, often referred to as the V-style, a preference Ricciardo aimed to deviate from at McLaren, but found challenging. Ricciardo's braking technique and corner approach impose distinct demands on the car and tyres, necessitating a distinct type of car response, and what unfolded in Mexico was the outcome of AlphaTauri truly tailoring the car to suit Ricciardo's style for the first time. Ricciardo was the star of qualifying by claiming 4th on the grid at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, narrowly behind the 2 Ferraris and season dominator Max Verstappen. And while he was unable to stay in the top 5 due to a badly timed red flag, Ricciardo clinched a huge result for AlphaTauri in 7th. His first point since his return to the Faenza squad in the second half of the season and his subsequent injury layoff. After last week, this is the weekend I dreamed of, Ricciardo told Sky Sports, referring to a tricky Austin weekend, which was his first appearance since breaking his wrist in August's Dutch Grand Prix. I feel good, better than good, relieved as well, because 2 starts. You hold your breath because it's such a long run to turn 1 and anything can happen. Daniel Ricciardo is now presented with the opportunity he wanted, as he stated himself back in August. With the main goal being the Red Bull seat in the near future and Perez's consistent failures, which we will get to in a second, Danny can indeed get what he wished for and deserved, if we're honest. Not everyone can get to P7 in a car like the AlphaTauri, which could have been a P6 if he had one more lap to pass Russell on the weaker tyres. Checo's moment of passionate determination ruined his opportunity to chase glory in front of his devoted home crowd, and it's understandable if he had any clue about the uncertainty of his seat for the next year, entertaining the possibility of defending his position, even against Verstappen. However, considering Checo's experience, he knows that this race would likely have secured him a spot on the podium, and the gamble he took just wasn't worth it, and unfortunately, it didn't pay off. This impulsive move not only ruined a weekend of hard work for his team, but also led to an unnecessary collision, reopening the door for Lewis Hamilton in the battle for second place in the championship. And this holds significant importance for Red Bull, as the team has historically been unable to secure a 1-2 position in the drivers' standings, even in its previous title-winning seasons. It's the primary objective Red Bull has entrusted Perez with for 2023, and failing to accomplish it would be disappointingly below expectations. What's potentially even more concerning is the stark contrast Perez has drawn for himself against Ricciardo. Just as the Honey Badger is building a compelling case for his return to top form, Perez has experienced another low point, And honestly, this couldn't have happened at a worse time for Perez, creating an unmistakable difference in their respective bids to be Verstappen's future teammate. Regardless of Red Bull's public statements about Perez's future, the team won't hesitate to sever ties and seek a replacement if they believe Ricciardo is the superior option. Perez's contract through 2024 won't hold weight if he's no longer deemed the top contender, and Red Bull has demonstrated its willingness to make bold decisions time and time again. Both drivers are trying to deflect inquiries about their competition for a Red Bull racing seat, but the scrutiny will persist, and while it's within Perez's control to put a halt to these speculations, currently he's only worsening the situation. It's becoming increasingly evident that the principal quality required to partner Verstappen in the cockpit is mental fortitude, because while Perez is undoubtedly a skilled driver, he currently seems to be grappling with a significant mental challenge, and the fact that this incident occurred in front of his home crowd speaks volumes. Rather than exercising restraint for a strong podium finish, he opted for an ill-advised risk, and his post-race interviews, where he admitted feeling the need to secure a victory, only underscore this misjudgment, which clearly wasn't the way to go about it. Ricciardo, on the other hand, demonstrates a greater level of maturity and proficiency behind the wheel. His driving style appears to align more effectively with the RB19, so in my opinion, Red Bull would benefit from considering Ricciardo as a replacement for Perez at the end of the season. Also, let's not forget the fact that Red Bull's strategy for the next year hinges on having a driver consistently secure podium places, and this is crucial for creating a gap between Verstappen and competitors like Lewis Hamilton, Leclerc, and Sainz. As we witnessed in 2021, when Hamilton regularly clinches second place, it can quickly escalate to first place in the overall standings. Bottas's inability to keep pace with Hamilton played a significant role in this dynamic. If he had been able to contend with Hamilton, Max might not have accumulated enough points to secure the championship, and this underscores the importance of having a strong second driver. If Perez is retained, there's a higher likelihood that Red Bull won't clinch the Constructors' Championship next year, even if they still have the best car. Ricciardo is considered a favourable choice because while he may not match Max in terms of pure speed over the course of a season, he brings a level of consistency. However, it's worth noting that, like Perez, he may occasionally face setbacks for unforeseen reasons. What's evident is that Red Bull cannot afford a series of failures like the one witnessed recently. Relying solely on one driver is an unsustainable strategy in the long run, and it's imperative for Red Bull to have a balanced and competitive driver lineup to maximise their chances of success. Ricciardo is currently enjoying his driving. That was evident on the track, as well as off it during the press conference and in his statements. A driver under pressure like that can perform, and one of the calibre and talents of Ricciardo can certainly exceed the expectations Marko and Horner have for him. This is when sacking Perez and replacing him with Ricciardo might become a real possibility for them to consider, something that was unthinkable up until only a few weeks ago. Only time will tell what is going to happen, but Perez has an opportunity this week in Brazil to fix the impressions. Will he do it though? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Ricciardo will replace Perez next season? Make sure you click and watch the next video right now.